Happy holidays and welcome to the Too Many Tapes Christmas special, now in its 4th year. Oh man, turns out I really do have too many tapes. I'm a sucker for a Christmas special. Give me anything with a theme of selflessness, togetherness, or joy, and you've basically got me in the palm of your hand. It's hard to do Christmas specials right, but it's also really hard to completely screw them up. They deal with such basic and universal themes, and you have a culturally present grab bag of trappings to play with. I guess what I'm saying is, if Gerbert can make a good Christmas special that actually moves me, just about anybody can. Oh, before we get any merrier, as a Christmas present to me, would you please hit the thumbs up on this video? Apparently mentioning it early on helps. I've been doing this for 4 years and it still feels like throwing darts while blindfolded in space. I've said some potentially unkind things about Gerbert in the past. I find the whole endeavor to be a little bit aesthetically troubling, a little bit tonally strange, a little bit grating. But there's something undeniably genuine about Andy Holmes. Side note, if you want to hear a wildly detailed interview about the creation and legacy of Gerbert with Andy Holmes himself, check out the March 22nd, 2022 episode of the Boys Bible Study podcast. It lays bare what I assumed to be true about Gerbert as a project. Holmes was a passionate guy who wanted to reach kids of all stripes, but his vision got a little out of hand when placed into the hands of the Christian entertainment industry. It's a fascinating and well-told story, and it's co-hosted by one of the members of Everything is Terrible. If you're anything like me at all, it's an essential listen, and I've linked to it in the description. So I'm giving Gerbert another honest chance here, to listen to what he has to say, and to see if we can find a little bit of that Christmas magic. We opened on an oddly extended version of the Gerbert theme song. That sort of thing is going to happen a lot with this tape. It has a shocking amount of filler, running only 25 minutes. That is light for a tape like this. Usually we're closer to 27 to 30 minutes. In fact, take out the dot and dash segments, the ones where the little hand puppets do the abstract mime and paint act, and we're sitting at a little under 22 minutes, which is perhaps the embodiment of the hope that this thing could see terrestrial broadcast on a network with commercials, which eventually it would do on the Family Channel. Speaking of dot and dash, Gerbert intros a pretty charming snowman theme segment in front of some large shipwreck of some kind. I think this is a generic bumper they use for more than just this episode. It feels like, as a show, Gerbert was always searching for an appropriate framing device. I miss the Gerbert theater, if I'm being honest. Anyway, this dot and dash segment is actually kinda great. Sometimes the weird baby talk the two do can get a little bit whatever the opposite of ASMR is, but this one is so simple in its construction, literally them building a cute little snowman, that it's hard to say anything bad about. It's gentle, soothing even, chill vibes. And now, Christmas. Carolers, snow, garland, lights, earmuffs, unmistakable Yuletide feelings. It even has the authenticity of a bunch of untrained people trying to sing a Christmas carol at the same time.
See her King, let every heart prepare him, and heaven and nature sing.
As far as caroling goes, they need a little bit of coordination. Generally, and this is really more of a suggestion than an actual law or requirement, generally you finish the carol before you go wandering off into the night, half-heartedly humming the next verse to yourself. Maybe this is what it looks like when the carolers finally do receive some figgy pudding. They disperse. Note to self, learn to make figgy pudding. Postscript to note to self, find out what figgy pudding is exactly. To add yet another slam dunk Christmas special trapping, we've got Gerbert in PJs and a Santa hat. Official Christmas Gerbert variant? Check. We're going all in on the jolly. He's got his little handmade nativity diorama, some random Christmas tchotchkes, and a song in his heart.
Christmas time is almost here. How I love this time of year. Presents underneath the tree, all wrapped up for you in the...
Yes. Tastes like a Christmas. That is a Christmas. That being said, Gerbert's teddy bear Barry looks like he's just been given the gift/curse of both sentience and mortality at the same time, and he's just now realizing the implications. This song gets to the heart of me, oddly enough. It's a wonderful little encapsulation of the good parts of all of the positive, fleeting feelings of Christmas. It's a superficial song, but then again, it's about all those superficial joys.
Making ornaments of dough, playing outside in the snow.
Merry, 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 merry Changmas. Merry, 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 merry Changmas.
The guy dumping the soap in front of the window is going for it, right? It's a dang Christmas blizzard. You could wash a hotel's worth of sheets with all that soap. We've also got a specialty Christmas-themed logo here, fully leaning into the early 90s CGI word art aesthetic. Could use maybe a Christmas light or two, but I'm not gonna complain. Fade back in on the group I've decided to name Christmas Interruptus. But they've lost their child members. They've wandered off into the snowy night to demand figgy pudding from other homes, I guess. Don't you worry though, this has not impacted their ability to sing tiny, thematically appropriate chunks of carols to start our segments. It's a vital service. Make sure you book them early so they can show up at the first or last 30 seconds of your holiday party this year. They charge by the hour, so the rates are cheap. Gerbert stares at a fire truck that even in the 90s was kinda lame. I was in that age range at the time, and I know for a fact that the really good ones were so dang big you had to move them around with 2 hands, and they had the long extending ladders and 3 buttons of digital sound with flashing lights. This is the kind of nostalgia fire truck your grandpa would maybe get you at a Cracker Barrel after a long, smoke-filled ride in his enormous land yacht of a van, as he ruminates about the ways he hasn't been good to his own son over the years, and what that may mean to the tiny child sitting behind him, staring vacantly out the window, pretending that there's a little guy running beside the car, keeping pace and hopping over obstacles. Too specific? But we didn't always get to choose what we fixated on as kids at Christmas. Sometimes you just latched onto a thing you saw on TV or in a store window or in one of those phone book-sized toy catalogs that came in the mail. A quick reminder that I am very rapidly becoming an old man, dangerously close to getting into old Ralphie narrating a Christmas story territory here. Quick aside to the quick aside, where are Gerbert's parents? It's nighttime. He's alone, meandering the streets of his small hometown, staring into toy store windows like he's Macaulay Culkin lost in New York. Do you want sticky bandits? Because that's how you get sticky bandits. Spoiler alert, his parents won't show up at all in this episode. Feel bad for the little guy, alone on Christmas. Miss Lenore comes out and puts a sign on the toy store window advertising a Christmas drive for people in need, or with special needs, like the sign says. I think even in the 90s that phrase was already being used for its contemporary purpose, so what's going on there? In a nice little dose of realism, you could tell that they started the sign on one side of the poster board, realized the letters were way too big, and then flipped it over and planned the whole thing out a bit better.
Hey, I have a special need.
Well, what's that, Gerbert?
See this fire engine in here?
Uh-huh.
It's really special, and I need it.
You know, this kind of tracks. Gerbert as a character is a gentler avatar of the limitless sociopathic id of your garden variety preschooler. A lot of the time, the lesson in one of these is trying to upend selfishness, trying to get that self-awareness to manifest itself, trying to get the we instead of the me. That simple kind of lesson pretty easily maps onto a larger holiday theme of caring for your neighbors and putting the needs of others before yourself.
This is for people who have lost their jobs or they can't support their families because of a long illness or some other unfortunate situation. We want them to have a wonderful Christmas too.
Huh. Well, that's awfully nice of you, Miss Lenore.
Oh, okay then. That solves the big moral quandary kinda quickly. Thought we were gonna chew on that a bit more. I guess we need to keep moving considering we only have 18 minutes left in this episode. Gerbert and Lenore ogle the fire truck some more, and then we get our Dickensian archetypical desperate Christmas family. Because it can't be a tear-jerking Christmas special without a tropey reminder that you've got it better than a lot of other people and should be grateful for what you have. Some of that is empathy, some of that is class warfare, but that's neither here nor there. Christmas, Corey. Less bread tube, more fruitcake tube. They're laying it on a bit thick here, though. I know it's for kids, but literally putting the kid in a flat-brim cat like he's a swing in the local production of Newsies is overkill. At this point, you might as well put some grease paint on his face and say he works as a chimney sweep if you're gonna be this unsubtle. As a show, Gerbert has never been known for its great non-puppet performances, but this kid is very bad.
Maybe you could buy it for me with the money you get from working for Mr. Kaiser.
The way he over-enunciates all of his words and has his eyes open as wide as humanly possible is really genuinely off-putting. I get that we're trying to establish that we're in a hopeless situation here, but maybe this kid needs the lesson about selflessness this year. He makes Gerbert look like the Buddha. Your dad's going through a rough time. Don't badger him. You know he doesn't have a job, Matthew. That's why he's dragging you to interviews and dressing you in that street urchin costume. It sells the desperation.
Don't worry, we'll have a nice Christmas, you'll see.
It's just that all the other kids... I'm sorry, Dad.
Anyway, they have kind of a terse moment of mutual understanding, and Gerbert walks out like he's seen a ghost. There's a stiffness to Holmes's walking performance sometimes, like he hasn't quite mastered the patented Muppet floppy walk.
Hi, Miss Lemon.
The kid playing Matthew has some of the oddest line delivery. He's not selling the hopelessness. Maybe this is why so many of these videos don't have child actors unless they're doing some big group sing-along.
I didn't know it did all that. Wow!
Yeah, that's why I put it top on my list this Christmas.
Oh yeah. I didn't even make a list this year.
Matthew's dad takes him home, and Gerbert learns a hard truth about Christmas. It's not a super awesome time for everybody. In fact, Christmas can intensify a lot of negative feelings. There's always that pressure to have the outward appearance of happiness, and that can really get some people down. And sometimes there's weird family stuff. Christmas can really suck. I don't need to tell you that. We intensify that feeling by watching Matthew's family sadly build popcorn garlands in their student film soundstage meets nightmare Norman Rockwell estate sail home with all of the grim determination of a salaryman who keeps going to his job even though the asteroid's gonna hit any day now.
It's coming along nicely.
This was a great idea, Mom.
Yeah, and if we only had a tree to hang it on. I don't think this was such a great idea.
If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
I know everybody's having a rough time here, but they all hate Matthew, right? Thankfully though, their tree prayers are answered as Mr. Lawrence drags in a scraggly little Charlie Brown Christmas tree, complete with the little wooden cross base thing, which they proceed to decorate haphazardly in the middle of the living room, as one does. I guess there won't be any presents under there, so it's just fine to move later.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la.
Look, I'm into it, but there's a lot of Christmas shorthand going on here, like they're trying to plot a thing at ludicrous speed. It's working, but it does flatten a lot of the events into spark notes. But no matter, because Gerbertville's biggest and most efficient musical sensation has entered the fray yet again. Christmas Interruptus hammers out 1/8 of an atonal version of Oh Holy Night, and we find Gerbert back at the toy store yet again. And the truck is gone! Gerbert is crushed!
Somebody bought it.
Oh, bought what?
The genuine candy red, fully assembled, lifelike, battery-operated rescuer fire engine. Model 40321B. Page 276 in the Christmas catalog.
This is going from relatable childlike obsession to flat-out theft from A Christmas Story, but then again, most Christmas media is built off of a constantly swirling mashup of references and tropes that has, for lack of a better term, snowballed over time into one omni-Christmas media vibe. Miss Lenore gives Gerbert a gift. Wonder what that could be. It's the truck. The truck that, mind you, was at the top of Gerbert's Christmas list this year, his main obsession, and it's being gifted to him by an acquaintance.
Thank you, Miss Lenore, but you didn't have to do that. We're not relatives or anything.
Oh, well, you don't have to be related to someone just to give them a present. You can give presents to anyone you like. That's what Christmas is all about.
Methinks Miss Lenore doth protest too much. Yeah, you can give presents to anyone you like, Miss Lenore, fair, but you can't. Not that one at least, and not to that kid. I have a few questions about your relationship to this child. Number one on the list regards the current status and whereabouts of Gerbert's parents. Shouldn't this be like present numero uno on their list? What does Miss Lenore know that we don't?
Now, I'm going to give this to you today, but you can't open it until Christmas. Deal?
Deal.
Later on, Gerbert surveys his haul, all seemingly given to him by friends of his. No presents from his family unless you count the ones from him to him.
And that one over there, that one is to me from me.
Also, Rory has a sub-bear, a minion. Rory's sphere of influence and power grows. He gives the present from Miss Lenore a good old-fashioned present shake, and correctly determines that it's probably the fire truck, though he had feared that Mr. Lawrence had bought it for Matthew. This naturally leads to some self-reflection on Gerbert's part in regard to all the gifts he's received this Christmas. In song form, the answer is simple, Gerbert. It's because everybody feels sad that your parents went missing on that carnival cruise they took without you because, and I quote, "We haven't had a night's peace in 5 years. We need a break." They left $250 in pizza money on the kitchen counter, and you've been spending it on Christmas presents for yourself. It's a Home Alone situation, but your parents abandon you on purpose, and they don't care who knows. In this instance, it literally takes a village to raise a child. All of Gerbert's acquaintances must come together to ensure this little pumpkin-shaped boy has a Merry Christmas, so they all swing by to quote-unquote give him gifts, but they're actually checking in to make sure he hasn't burnt his house down or swallowed rat poison or something.
I wonder why I've got so many. Look at all of these Christmas presents. Man, some don't have any.
Weirdly, this song has lyrics, but no melody. The first song had a melody. This one's a weird spoken word ballad, William Shatner doing Rocket Man by way of Gerbert, I guess.
Let's just take this Christmas love and let's spread it all through the year.
He makes his big, selfless, episode-defining decision, and we get 3 of my favorite things. 2 bespoke title cards, and a lovely, perfectly timed snippet of Christmas Interruptus next to this jaunty snowman made out of white felt and fake snow.
Hear the Christmas angels, the great glad tidings tell.
They're so bad at literally every component of caroling. I love them so much. So Gerbert does the kind and generous thing and re-gifts his fire truck to Matthew. In full defiance of every cynical bone in my body, this works. My God. The little pumpkin goblin has me feeling feelings. We did it, folks. We saved Christmas. Miss Lenore delivers the gift to the Lawrences and Matthew gets his fire truck. He's some kind of excited.
Wow! Oh, Daddy, just what I wanted!
And you know, I'm kind of glad Gerbert isn't there to see Matthew open his gift. We don't always get to see the direct effects of our kindness, and the fact that Gerbert has to just be happy in the knowledge that he did the right thing is wildly mature for a show like this. Cue the opening song to bookend us, and we end on a cheerful, lovely note that's honestly kind of undercut by 2 completely unrelated dot and dash segments. They're cute, but they could stand to be, festive in some way. But after the nautical-themed and not Christmassy at all end credits, we're back with festive Gerbert, and he brings up a point that caught me off guard.
Help give someone else a Merry Christmas this year. Find out about a Christmas kindness program in your city, or even start one yourself. Your love can make a great big difference this Christmas season.
Maybe I'm too sentimental. Maybe I'm easily swayed by earnestness and cheap plays to emotion. And maybe this time of year amplifies all of that to a deafening roar, but yeah, he's right. And that's the wildest part of this whole tape. For once, the message actually cut through all of the strange eccentricities of this show, and I saw to the core of its earnest, genuine soul. It's kind of a Christmas miracle. So, and I mean this 100% seriously, I'm taking some of my own cash, alongside the entirety of my December Patreon money, and throwing it towards some Christmas programs in my community. I haven't decided which one to go through yet, but follow along with me on Patreon, and I'll let you know how all that goes. As a community, you have all been extremely generous to me over the last few years, and I'm more grateful than I have the capacity to express without sounding sappy. From the bottom of my heart, I hope that your holiday season is merry and joyous, and if it can't be, I hope you know that I'm rooting for you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and for the love of all things that are holly, jolly, and other things ending in ollie, someone please find Gerbert's parents. He misses them. Thank you all for watching Too Many Tapes. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon to get updates for when I upload videos. If you want to help out a small YouTube channel, or if you're already a donor, a needy kid or kids this month, consider donating $1 or more a month to my Patreon. If you donate $50 or more a month, like Cammie, you get recommendations. I'm recommending the 2015 film The Night Before, starring Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. While on its surface it may seem like a pretty straightforward sort of Seth Rogen buddy movie, it's actually a beautifully wistful meditation on the traditions and families we build around the holidays to feel less alone. And Chase, I'm recommending the 2019 film Last Christmas. Yes, that one. It's not great, but if you can stomach the gobsmackingly stupid twist, it's a refreshingly festive little rom-com, featuring 2 stars with infinite chemistry who deserve way, way better careers. If you donate $20 or more a month, you're NATO Kitsch, and your name gets to be in the credits in an enormous font. I hope Santa brings you 125 copies of Carol Vorderman's Sudoku for the PS2. For $10 or more a month, you're a Christmas miracle in the form of a tiny little orange puppet, and your name gets to be pretty big in the credits too. And for $5 a month, you're a genuine, candy red, fully assembled, lifelike, battery-operated rescuer fire engine model 40321B, page 276 in the Christmas catalog. Because you're all I want for Christmas, and you get early access to my new videos. Thank you all again for watching, happy holidays, and I'll see you in 2023 on Too Many Tapes. Finish the carol before you go wandering off into the night, half-heartedly Christmas meltdown.